Keyword research is the process of identifying your target keywords. Keyword research is one of the most important tasks when it comes to SEO because almost everything you do with your website content revolves around that. Now, after you come up with a list of possible keywords, and we'll get to how you can do that in a bit, you also need to make sure that they are right for you. Are they relevant? How many users search for this phrase every month? Because if there aren't too many people searching for it, there's no point in you trying to create content for a small number of users. Most importantly, are all the big websites targeting the same keyword? Because if they are, then it will make it harder and longer for you to rank for. Now, for keyword research, you can use Google search to come up with an initial list of keywords. But while you may be able to get a list of keywords to begin with, it is a little tricky to get all of those other metrics we talked about that you need to evaluate and shortlist your keywords. So it is best to use an SEO tool. Like, for example, you can use these questions, and you can also use some of these titles. You can use all these other phrases that Google is telling you people search for. So you can use all of these informations to make to shortlist some keywords. But how do you know the search difficulty? How do you know how many people are searching for it? And all of those other metrics. So there are ways to do it and extract that information from Google search. But the easiest way to do it really is use a tool. If you don't have the budget for an SEO tool, you can even choose a tool like Ubersuggest that has free plans. And for this course, that's what I'm going to use, because as a solopreneur, I too have a limited budget for my online businesses. And Ubersuggest has always been the tool I use for basic SEO. I will not cover Ubersuggest as a tool in detail in this course because that's not what its objective is. I'm simply going to use Ubersuggest here to teach you SEO. If you want to learn how to use Ubersuggest effectively, you could consider looking at my other course on Udemy. The name of the course is The Ultimate Course for Ubersuggest, and the link that's shown here is what you can use: bit.ly/Ubersuggest-Udemy. To begin with your keyword research, you'll have to sort of think backwards. For example, if you're writing a list of gift ideas for Christmas, and as you can imagine, that is a topic that is very much in demand around December especially, what do you think your potential audience might be looking for? So you can start by looking for details about the most obvious keywords, which is why I have pulled up results for Christmas gifts, Christmas gift ideas, and gifts for Christmas. So let's take a look at the results here. Some of the metrics that are important for us to decide which keywords are right for us are, of course, the volume. That is the total number of months, or total number of searches in 1 month. And that tells you whether it is worth going for at all. If it's high, it tells you that there are enough people out there who are searching for that keyword. Cost per click is the hypothetical cost of what a click for this keyword would have cost you if you were to place a Google ad for it. Paid difficulty is how difficult it is to rank for this keyword in paid search. But since we are focusing primarily on SEO here and not talking about paid ads, what is relevant for you here is SEO difficulty, which means how difficult it is for you to rank for this keyword. We'll talk about these numbers and what these mean in a bit. But the higher these number, the more difficult it is for you to rank. So as you can imagine, these keywords are obviously hard to rank for and extremely competitive. But if you scroll further, there are plenty of other keywords that you can go for. For example, gifts for husband, Christmas gift baskets, and gifts for her. So you can solely focus on a list of Christmas gifts specifically and narrow it down for the recipient. For mom, for wife, a box, Christmas gifts box. So gifts for parents. Okay, looks like people need a lot of ideas for that. while it might not be a good idea to target and create content for a generic article about generic Christmas gifts for everyone, if you choose to create a bunch of posts for specifically parents or some of the ideas that we went through, Christmas gifts, baskets, then you might have a better chance of ranking your content in the search results. So let's talk about search difficulty. We stuck a pin in it. Now it's time to go and understand what those numbers mean. This slide gives you a general idea of the SEO difficulty and what it means, what those numbers that you just saw mean. As you can see from this chart, if it's less than 50, it's a safer bet than if it is higher than 50. And if you're a starter website with relatively low domain authority, I would recommend that you stick to keywords with an SEO difficulty of lower than 50. That will help you to rank relatively easily and quicker. After you've shortlisted your keywords, you've chosen the ones that are right for you, relevant for you, and which are easy to rank for, what you want to do is build super helpful and unique content that satisfies the user's search intent. Search intent is what a user is looking for when they run a search. Now, there are 4 kinds of search intent usually. The first one is informational, wherein a user is looking for general information or broad information on a topic. An example of informational search intent would be life coaching, which implies someone is generally looking to understand more about life coaching. Navigational is another kind of search intent, which is more specific, where in this example, say somebody is looking for life coaching for teenagers and not just a broad search. Commercial search intent. That is where somebody is doing homework or research and looking for information that can help them to make a decision to buy something. So it's the search that they do just before buying. An example again in this life coaching would be where somebody wants to know the rates for a life coach. So life coach's average fee could be a commercial keyword in this example. Transactional means they are ready to buy. They understand what life coaching involves. They understand the cost of life coaching. And now they want to zero in and find the right life coach who lives close to them. Certified life coaches near me or top 10 life coaches in the Bay Area are examples of transactional search intent keywords. You should design your content based on the user's search intent, based on whether they are looking for information or looking to buy something. For example, if it is an informational keyword, you might create an article for your website's blog for it. But if it is a transactional or commercial intent keyword, you might choose to use those keywords on your product or store pages because you want them, if they're ready to buy, that's where you want to take them. Besides matching the search intent, you also want to make sure your article is unique. You can do extensive research and take inspiration from similar content from your competition, but you should not structure your content exactly and definitely not create content that is only based on those articles. One way to do it right is to do extensive research to create an article that is in-depth and full of many different takeaways. A sort of mix of all the best of all the articles that you refer to with your own unique take and experience added to it. Bonus points if you add statistics or data points to support your content. Or better still, a quote from an expert in that field. While making the content interesting, relevant, and unique, you also need to integrate your keywords into your content as often as possible in a way that seems natural to the flow of your article. Adding headers or subheaders that include your keywords is one way of structuring your content and around the user's keywords and focusing on topics that seem most important to the user. Now, the more keywords you have in a piece, the higher its visibility. But always remember that the idea is to create content for the users. Stuffing keywords or overusing keywords all over the place drives away users and is discouraged by search engines too. Here's a perfectly good example of keyword stuffing by SEMrush. With that, we come to the end of keyword research. And in the next lecture, we'll talk about the best way of adding visual elements like images and videos to your content.